sense of purpose. I believe that whenever they teach us about the civil rights movement, they teach us wrongly. You know what they told me about Rosa Parks when I was a kid? Well, she just was tired, they said. She didn't want to give up her seat on the bus because she was tired. That's what I believed when I was a kid, because that's what they told me when I was a kid. And I know they told me by design, because they didn't want me to know what Rosa Parks knew. That she was a member of the NAACP. That Rosa Parks was trained. That Rosa Parks was selected to be the one who would catalyze this boycott which the NAACP planned. So that when that happened, brothers and sisters, we were ready. And what happened was a campaign that was sacrificial. A campaign that was dedicated. A campaign that was organized and directed. A campaign that produced fruit that broke that segregated bus system. Because she was organized, because she was trained. And sometimes we look at this issue of community trauma, we say, well, just get out there and do something. We look at these issues about gun violence and say, well, let's just get out there and do something. Or whatever other issues we see plaguing our communities or facing our communities, we say, just get out there and do something. If you're tired, just don't give up your seat. Where is the training, brothers and sisters? Where is the organization, brothers and sisters? Where is the leadership, brothers and sisters? And I tell you, we can have all of this. And this must be our work. To begin with love, by loving one another. To educate our brothers and sisters so that we understand that the world can actually be another way. How many people are trapped because they just don't believe that the world can be any other way? Because life has never showed them any other way. But you see, love is a powerful tool. And with love, you can show a great deal of difference. I know because I see it all the time. We must educate our brothers and sisters so that they know there can be another way. Education, however, does not replace training. So we've got to train our brothers and sisters. A lot of times we talk a lot about trauma in our communities, and people have a tendency to emphasize the need for counseling in our communities. Yes, we need counselors. Yes, we need clinicians in our communities. We have a free health center, and so many others do. But I will tell you, brothers and sisters, you don't have to be a therapist to be therapeutic. Amen. And I will tell you that this evening tonight, the sense of family that to be found in Newcastle is in and of itself therapeutic. And we, brothers and sisters, with our love, can be therapeutic. But we can be trained. You know, down in Pittsburgh, we have a trauma response team. Go out and in our ministry, we go out in response to homicides as a result of gun violence in Allegheny County. And we've done this in partnership with the health department, and we came up with this strategy. We said, well, what we really want to do is we want to just take people from the community and train them to be trauma responders. I mean, why wouldn't we? There was this community conversation, and this woman was this community woman. They said, well, how can we go when there's homicides? How can we? I mean, we're not qualified, right? I mean, we're not ready to do this. How can we be the ones to respond to this? And this other community lady from the community said, well, I will tell you this. We've been asking for counselors to come into our communities for decades, and they never came. So we are going to go. Because with training, we can. That's what psychological first aid is. That's what mental health first aid is. I'm sure you all have some volunteer fire departments here. Because we can train, brothers and sisters, to be that agent of response and positive change. Once we know there's an issue, educate, train, then we can respond. Leads me to my next point. Organize. Because we got a whole bunch of individuals, and I see this all the time, everybody be trained. Running all over the place. Accomplishing nothing. Some people tilling in the same field. Overwatering the seed someone else planted. Brothers and sisters, we've got to be organized. Because without that organization, See, individuals, we can't do much. Sometimes in the United States, this nation I love so much, my home, which I, like so many of us, have sacrificed for. But this individualism, what is this individualism? What can we do as an individual? And people sometimes they say, I did it wrong, and they ignore how many people in their path to help them get where they are today. You see, we've got to be organized, brothers and sisters. That's the beauty of coming together as an organization. Which brings me to my next point. We've got to be equipped. Because you might be the best carpenter in all the land, but if you don't have a hammer, and you don't have a saw, you're not building anything.
That's right, that's right.
And sometimes we want people, say, get out there, and they've got no tools.
That's right.
Where is our toolkit? Like the NAACP had back in the day. Where is our toolkit? See, but we can build it. We can build it, and we can equip people with it. And then finally, once we've done all that, we're educated, we're trained, we're organized, we're equipped, then and only then can we deploy. You see, sometimes because, brothers and sisters, we want to go too soon. We want to go before we're ready. We want to go before we have the know-how. We want to go before we have the organization or the equipment, and then we get out there and we fail. And you know what people say? Well, we tried. And then it's a whole nother generation before we're able to get out there and try something again. Because every good proposal, people say, no, we tried. You see, so deploy, see, that comes last. And I will tell you, the other thing, now this is me as a priest speaking, of course, and sometimes that blessing, just hearing somebody say, go forth, makes the low mighty.
Amen.
You see, we've got to look back to our legacy. Because we can have a different world. We can change. We can be more than what we are today. Now down in Pittsburgh, we're trying to do this. We have these framework we call now trauma-informed community development. We are trying to train community people to go out and be agents of positive change in the community in the same spirit of the old movement. Started out with, just a few folks in the Hill District. Then we started to get calls from some other cities. We had some of our brothers and sisters from Crawford County. And they said, can we come down and be with you? Then we had some of our brothers and sisters from Petersburg, Virginia. And they said, can we come and be with you? We had some of our brothers and sisters from Richmond, in Kansas City, in Indianapolis, and they said, can we come and be with you? We had a sister from Wind River Indian Reservation say, can I come and be with you? We're working together, and we're struggling together, we're training together, because this is the day of a new movement. I will tell you, whenever we teach history, it's all right to learn history, but we mustn't learn it as though it's just something that happens to us. We must learn it as though it is something that is ours to write. This is our history to write. And let this be now the legacy. This be the focus of our work, the legacy that we will now pass on to our descendants. That perhaps they will one day gather in halls like this to inspire the struggle of their day. And just as we speak about Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass and Martin Luther King, maybe they will speak of us. For this history is ours to write. And let this be the day of a healing movement. And let the NAACP spearhead this movement. And lock arms with our brothers and sisters from sea to shining sea. That we inaugurate, brothers and sisters, a new age of healing defined by love and sacrifice. Let that be our witness. And let that be our legacy. And may God's blessing be upon us all in this endeavor. Amen.